All right, today's video, we are going to attempt to fix all the leaks. Like, they would not stop leaking. So what Tony and I talked about is we're gonna cut the weld out and just start over again. So let's get to it. Hey, today's video, we are going to go back through and cut the tunnel again. We're gonna cut out the weld, we're gonna start over because it just wasn't working before. So we're gonna do that. Also, some guys have been asking why we're cutting the tunnel. So you cut the tunnel on a sled, and most of the new sleds are coming, like most of the new mountain sleds are coming this way. So when you're turning uphill or you're wheeling, it doesn't grab the snow and get you stuck. So you have more, I don't know, you just don't get, it doesn't dig in as much, and so you have more ability to ride the trees easier. Okay, so we cut out the weld. So you can see here, like really close. We didn't want to cut too much more out. So got this out. Now we're gonna go back and try to weld it back again. Welding it, Tony's done some experimenting, so this is kind of what it looks like inside, right? And I think we've shown you this before, but this is the weld on here, okay? From the factory. This is the factory weld, and this is the tunnel just cut in half, and then we welded this together to practice. So this is what it looks like, and this is how we tried to weld it before. But now this is what we're doing. Tony just did, I think it's called a fusion weld. So he's just welding this piece here all the way, and he'll do that both on the part of the cooler that's in this sled and then the part of the cooler that we're welding back in. So he's gonna do that, and then he'll weld it together. You can kind of see inside, like, that there'll be one piece. So that's what we're gonna often do. We're gonna pressure test the cooler again. Again, we've talked about this in the other videos. Light pressure, then we're gonna spray it down with soap, look for bubbles. Okay, so we got the cooler all welded back together, and we've got it
pressure tested.
Yeah, pressure tested
Um,
and riveted back together.
you can see we got a lot of warpage in this area, just because we had to chase a few leaks and had a lot of heat into it. But
It's only on one side though.
it's all covered.
Yeah. You won't see it.
We did add a little extra pressure when we were pressure testing it and kind of balloon this out a little bit.
Yeah.
But hey,
Yeah, it's all
at
right.
this point,
We just want it to stand up straight. And then, we also cut the back part off, and then
we need to fine tune this with the bumper. But if you come in close, we used a solid aluminum rivets.
So as you saw, yeah.
With an air hammer.
Yeah.
So I was on the bottom doing that. We had a fucking, we call them a fucking bar. It's a heavy piece of tungsten on the top. Basically how airplanes are put together.
So the advantage of that rivet is it won't separate.
It doesn't separate. So pop rivets, these are way stronger than pop rivets. And as you hammer them, it hardens the aluminum. So these rivets are going to be harder than the pop rivet, and the shear strength is better. And they tend not to vibrate loose. So if you get a lot of vibrations, what happens with a pop rivet is the only thing holding it together is that mandrel, and things shrink and swell. Basically, this is the best option we had to replace those self-piercing rivets.
And then we're gonna come through and do some like touch-up paint.
We're gonna basically paint all these rivets, so you won't even notice. This is all covered by the seat and the gas tank, so you won't even see that.
Let's show them the attachment for the hoses we used to do the.
Real quick, the benefit also of the solid rivets, if you look at the bottom looks just like the top.
So, if I can find it here. This is the bottom of that rivet. You can see it all along there. So it won't come apart. And then this is kind of the setup we used to do the pressure testing.
This was just some extra radiator hose that we had, but these fittings you get at Home Depot or the hardware store, and that's just enough to basically pressure test.
Yeah, so we hooked this up to this little compressor, and then just dialed in the pressure on there. So.
And then the long hose was nice when we were flushing it. We basically squirted water in the one side with the hose, like pressurized hose water. And then we had this squirting out, so anything that was in the tunnel or in the cooler is now out of the cooler.
So yeah, it's ready to go. And yeah, we're just gonna do some trimming here. But first, we're gonna eat some lunch.
Yeah, just gotta trim this, figure out, and then reattach that back plate, ribbon on all this stuff here. You gotta trim that plastic part.
Yeah.
And then you can probably put the gas tank back on.
Yeah. Yeah, we can start doing some reassembly.
Another thing to note, so we took the starter off. So this was the starter wire. So this basically just went up to the fuse box. So now this will be dead. So we're gonna heat shrink that, so don't worry about it. This goes to something else. This on all models, for some reason, just lives in here under the tank. That was just right there, I think.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it was zip tied together. So if you want to add a starter, I believe this plugs into the starter solenoid.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
And then you just have to chase a wire to your power.
You'd have to pull your tank off.
Yeah.
Because it pain in the neck. This is for your brake light.
Oh, that's brake light. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I just realized, I don't know if we ever said, we fixed the leaks. Leaks are gone. Sled cooler is ready to go.
All right, so the next step, we started trimming. Got all these holes drilled from this plate. So this is the original bracket. Drilled those holes up. It's got Clecos holding everything in place right now. Shortened everything by the 7¼ inches. Re-drilled the holes. That was the original spot. You want to make sure you put your taillight wire through there before you rivet it, because then you have to roll it out again. Yeah, next step, I think we'll trim this to line up with this bracket, because you kind of want all your weight of the bumper going through those brackets.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to probably re-drill these holes, or in our bumper we could either add new rib nuts to it. I don't know, we'll have to see once we get our bumper back on how we put it.
That's not our bumper. That's the bumper from Brian's sled. Thanks, Brian.
So, yeah, that's the next step.
Cool.
Eventually.
Okay, something happened to my video, so I had to come back and remake this. We put our airbox on, and it's really tricky to put on. You kind of just have to fight with it to get on. There's no real good way to get in and push the boots onto the throttle body. So you just got to battle with it. So good luck. You'll get it eventually. Just keep working at it. Okay, we got a ton done. We are starting to put the sled back together. I'm so excited. The sled's gonna ride like a monster, and I'm excited for it. We started getting a bunch of parts put back together. We still have a lot to do left on the sled, and we're excited to show you that. So thanks for watching.